Hello, my name is Don Morton, and this is the video demonstrating my final project for CSC275. Um, I was first going to do the chatbot project, but I looked through some tutorials and some guides on how to do them, and C++ doesn't seem to be all that great for them nowadays. And the tutorials I could find weren't something I would want to submit to as final, and I don't think I could make it to where it could hit all of our project requirements. So I decided to do an adventure game instead. Adventure game based off of something that I love, which is hopefully if you watch this video, you can catch it yourself and figure out what we're referencing, what I'm referencing in this game. I had fun with this project and got to learn a bunch of code that I hadn't learned before. So yeah, let's go ahead and step through it real quick. So this is the project, the main function. Let's scroll through and show some things. So first off, you can see I did a quick layout of everything I'll need to do in this project to get this game working. Put in a character, what I'll need for the character leveling, how it scales, the health and attack every time it scales. And then I put in some creatures that I want. Basically, I got a dragon, a goblin, and a rabbit. Rabbit's from hell, so if you read some of the stuff in the game, you may catch the reference for the rabbit and where the game's coming from. And then kind of everything you can do on a turn and what happens on the turn. Oh shit. All right. So, where was I? Oh yeah. So the creatures there, dragons, goblins, and then each kind of what can happen each turn. Spawning items, percent chance to spawn items, percent chance to spawn near the win condition item, and then how to heal yourself, a chance to heal yourself, and then do nothing. Currently, do nothing happens a lot more than I would like in this program, but it's something that I have to adjust later. And then I also put in a thing of how the creatures would scale based off of player level, and then how the creatures would level would be determined. And you can see, rabbit, it's got to help you. So we'll explain that in a little bit. And listed is the win condition, which is finding the Holy Grail. So some of our basic functions in the game, we'll call those down again later and explain them. So this print one is the first one that comes up. Like I created that right away because I found in another project that I've created that it helped me be able to do long output statements or cout statements so that I could. It makes it just easier for me because it functions kind of like C# and other programming languages. It's just something that I found useful recently. But yeah, here's a quick intro, and that'll display for the players to be able to read and know what they're doing, why they're here at this game, or what this game's going to do for them. And then a quick thing of what I want for my menu. And we have play game, view leaderboard, and close. And the leaderboard is what we write the how far the character got, level, and kind of stuff to a text file, and that function will be called up later. Yeah, so you can leave view leaderboard, start playing the game, and or just exit the game, and it'll tell you, give you an exit message. So you choose to play the game, it'll ask you your name, you put in your name, and then it saves it as you, and then throws through this little extra little thing, and it'll generate our findable items, and then start running the game. So we begin to run the game, and this basically will set up what happens in a turn. There is four things you can really do in a turn. You can move, you can stand still, stay put, or you can look around. And then you can also, for more options, you can pull up the character info, exit round, or close the application. Currently, exit round is a little broken, and it'll actually exit the application also. So that's something I'll have to go back and fix at a later date. But the game overall functions fine. You just won't be able to. The object of exit round was to be able to exit the game and then go back into your character again later if you wanted to. Kind of just save your progression and keep going. But that isn't working right for me right now, and I'd have to go through and figure out at some other point. And I probably will later. I will definitely later when I want to actually make this a game. Make this game better, sorry. So this is, if you choose to run your turn, kind of things that'll happen. It'll spawn creatures, give you a chance to have a treasure, give you a chance to go to the old man's hut to heal yourself, or basically do nothing. And when you spawn the treasure, there's a chance you can spawn the win condition. Um, yeah, and then it'll run. If you spawn a creature, it'll do this run combat, which will tell you, hey, the enemy approaches, and it'll tell you what kind of enemy it is and what level it is, and then give you your options for the combat. This is a random number generator that we have in there to. Oh wait, no, this is not that random number generator. This is. Yeah, to determine how to if what creature is spawning. So, this will our perk is the percentage to spawn the rabbit, and that's a value to pass into the random number generator, and it'll tell you rabbit spawn and give you whatever it is. And then basically, I set up this rabbit so that there's only one way to kill it. Every other thing, the rabbit's just basically going to kill you, because if you're getting and reading some of this code when we go through the game and see where it's coming from, you'll understand. But the only way to kill the rabbit is to have a holy hand grenade, and you have to get that through getting treasure. So yeah, it's just basically if the rabbit finds you, you're dead kind of thing. So yeah, it doesn't matter what you do with the rabbit. You can run, you can distract, you can attack it, and if you don't have the holy grenade, you're basically dead. So this is spawning the dragon. It'll create the creature type of dragon. You have dragon perk up there, which is our dragon percentage. And then it'll assign the level and adjust the level based off of the character's level, divided by 5. And then run the build creature function inside our creature superclass and our dragon subclass, and then print out the level saying, hey, this is the dragon level, and it'll assign the health, but won't tell the player the health. Same thing for the goblin, but it adjusts the goblin level based off of that. The goblin level is plus or minus 2 of the character level. So the problem with that is if character level 1 and we go to subtract the 2 from it, you can have a -1 value or a 0 level goblin, which we don't really want. We only want the goblin to go down to level 1. That's why if goblin level is less than 1, then you set it to 1. So you can't have anything but a low level 1 goblin. That's the lowest you can go. And this is what happens when you come into the fighting goblin or dragon. It gives you your attack, your run, or distract, and these are the functions to go through those. Basically, you attack if creature type is 1, goblin to attack health, and it does the calculation to subtract your attack value from the goblin's health pool. And the same thing with the dragon. It'll tell you how much you attacked for, and then or print that out. If you choose to run away, it'll just run away, and you just run away and don't get any experience or anything like that. Another fun one is distract, which I decided to make, where if you do the distract command, it'll choose an item at random from your inventory, and then throw that item at the enemy, and then give you 10 experience and let you run away. If you don't have an item, it'll display another message and say, hey, you don't have anything, and it'll let you go back to your attack or runaway options, or your main combat options. And this is the creature attack and how the creatures attack when they do it. It displays the dragon one, where the dragon has 2 attacks. One is a double swipe that does 70% damage each time, or 75% damage each time, sorry. And then the other one is a breath weapon, a breath attack that attacks once. So the swipe attack hits players twice for less damage, and the breath attack hits players once for full damage. And then this is for the goblin to determine if a goblin's there. And then there's an else all, or a final else in there that is a dodge, which I put a pretty high chance on dodge so that players could live and go through it, because I don't want the game to be too difficult. I just want it to be fun. It is kind of supposed to be a little roguelike, but not super hard roguelike, right? And then this is the results of the combat. So if you live or if you die. If the creature's lie, it says you died and game over. If the creature lives, you get some experience based off the creature type, and it tells you that. And then there's a double experience trigger to be able to get double experience. And this is the game over function, which tells you either two options: either you won or you lost, right? So it'll print out two messages saying either or. And then this is the random number generator. That'll generate the random numbers based off of what we need, or for what we need for most of it. Oh yeah, those print lines were to be able to help me determine if it was actually working or not. So I had some issues earlier with the way I was calling it through the rest of the thing. It would kind of just seed one number and keep that number for everything while the program ran. So I had to adjust my generator to make sure it was changing it every time it called. And then these are our two read and write options. So it'll save to a text file called leaderboard.txt, which is in the main directory, and you can pull it up and look at it. And we'll do that at the end of the program to show what it looks like. And this is also to print from the leaderboard, so it'll call that. You can call that file to print it, and it'll print out this saying, "Hey, this is what it is." And this calls at the end of the game also, so you can see where your function was. This is our findable items, so treasures you can find besides the win condition, Holy Grail, or the Holy Hand Grenade. Just some things in there to kind of keep with the theme of the game, and you can see some things like Sir Robin's wet pants, some filth, a scimitar, an arm clove in the back, a herring, a coconut. Just some things that kind of keep with the theme of the game. Oh, sorry, misclicked right there. We are way down here. And this is how to pull up the retrieving the found items to actually add them to the player's inventory. So you can see a small chance to get the Holy Grail, which is a 1% chance that increases every time, every 5 turns. So at 5 turns, it's a 2% chance. At 3 turns, it's a 4%. It's a 3% chance. Sorry, at 10 turns, it's a 3% chance, so on and so forth, right? There's also a chance to find the Holy Hand Grenade, which is the same kind of thing, but it increases by 2% each time. And then everything else will be just, if you find treasure, it'll give you one of the random items from our generator list. And then there's my main function, which only calls 2 things. Nice and simple, right? So let's go through character real quick. We'll go to the character header file first. You see it's a little more complicated than some of the other ones we'll see here. But basically sets up our functions and our values, our base values for the character, so that we can create a player character for them to use. And then we can scroll through the functions here, but basically all this does is set all the base stats and how we do damage to a character, to a player. So it sets our base stats here, right? We have health max, attack, level, experience, and experience needed. And then the name. So default name is certain not appear in this game, so if you don't put a name in, that's what will show up. Then we have just attack, which will return the player's attack value, which will get changed by the level, right? And then we have our set health, which is where we actually do our damage calculation and everything, and determines if health is 0, it'll change the output to 1 to give us a false condition, so that we go into our loss, right? And then this will print out health and health max comparison. And this will return our full health, whatever health we're currently at. And this next one, the campfire healing, will heal the character up to max health. I thought about doing it as a percentage of health, but I figured the way that my health is scaling, it gets kind of hairy to do percentage, because I basically wanted them to go back to full health every time they find a campfire. And then this is my experience calculation, which determines how much experience or how much what a character gets when they level up. And it's basically your experience increases by 1.2% or by 20%. Your attack experience increases by 25%, and your health increases by 50%. And then there's also a chance in there to be able to double your values when you level up. And then next we have our character info print. So it'll print out our character info, our level, attack, health, experience, and so on and so forth. And then it'll also print our inventory, We can also print our inventory. So those two are called up when we pull up the character info screen. It prints both of those. And then these guys add item. That one will add items to the inventory based off of the item name that we pulled up. And there's another character info call in a different way, or printed differently. And then our level and our set name for our character. So our creature is our superclass for all of our enemies, right? So we have 3 different enemies: dragons, goblins, and rabbits. A lot of the stuff, big stuff, is handled in here for like setting the base values, and then it's abstracted, right? I think that's what it is. But basically, it's most of the experience granted, the creating the creature, and the attack of the creature is handled in the creature subclass itself. So yeah, let's look at the actual source file for the creature. So this is how we set the health, which is the same thing as the player set health, but it will iterate through the damage of the health, damage to the creature, and then set it to the amount and determine if the creature is dead or not. Then we have our get health, which will pull the health from the creature, and then our experience granted, which will grant the creature's experience. Then we have our 2 build creature and attacks, which are overridden in the subclass. So let's move on to the dragon. So this is the Dragon H file, nice and simple, nothing too complicated, only 3 things in there, so you don't really need much for creatures, right? We need to know its health, its attack damage, and how much it'll give for experience kill, which we have there. Goblin is the same exact thing, so only 3 things in there: attack, building the creature, and its health, or its experience granted. And the build creature is how you set your health and your attack damage. The same thing in the dragon, right? Yeah, same exact thing. And then the last thing we did was the rabbit. And the rabbit has the same things, but because of the way I wanted the rabbit to be done, it doesn't really need to be built at all. I just put them in there to keep things similar, just in case I wanted to go back and edit some things later. But basically, whenever the rabbit spawns, like I think I said earlier, the player just dies unless they have the holy hand grenade, then they can beat the rabbit. So let's go ahead and run this and go through a few iterations and see if we can find the Holy Grail in not too long of a time. Alright, let's bring this up here, and we'll bring this down here. Okay, so let's go ahead and play the game. Pray tell, what is my name, Sir Knight? I will go with Doland, which is the name I use in a lot of games. Tim. Oh, I'll start at the beginning. This is your adventure through the caves of Carabonog. Sorry. You are a knight in the service of the great King Arthur. You will brave the depths and dangers of this cave looking for the Holy Grail. The dangers you will face are numerous, but a steadfast heart and a strong sword arm will see you through them all. Pray tell, what is your name, Sir Knight? And I said, my name is Doland. And then it says, Tim the Enchanter has left you at the cave entrance. He wishes you luck as he hides behind a rock a few yards away. There are bones, blood, and other fallen knights about the ground. You feel confident. Alright, let's go ahead and move into the cave further. You take a silly step forward. Nothing happens. We'll do another one. Take another silly step forward. Oh, goblins have found us. Okay, so this we can go ahead and start showing off our attack. So we'll attack, and I'll say I did 10 damage, and then the goblin attacked me, and I dodged. Look at that. So level 2 goblin, which isn't that hard, but it will take 2 hits to kill the goblin. So we killed the goblin, and I got 15 experience for that fight. So let's go ahead and move in again. Take another step forward, and we stumble across an old man in a hut that shouldn't be here. He cackles while you warm your hands by the fire. After your wounds have magically closed, the old man cackles all the more loudly and fades out in a cliché scene shift from scene 24. Which, if you get the reference that I'm making with this whole thing, it'll make you smirk. So yeah, let's keep moving. Nothing. Alright, so this time let's go ahead and stay put. Decide to wait in place. That will get you to your destination faster for sure, and nothing still happens. So let's look around. Look around. You take a look around the area. 'Tis still a cave. Nothing happens still. As you can see, nothing happens a lot, and we're going through we're almost to turn 10, which means I'll have a 2% chance of finding the Holy Grail every turn. So the do nothing is taking a lot of my turns, so I gotta adjust those percentages down at some point. So we keep moving. Found another goblin, so let's attack this goblin. Kill it. Alright, let's keep moving. Keep moving. Oh, looks like we stumbled across the old man again. Oh, level 4 goblin. Okay, this one we're gonna just display the distract option that doesn't have, because the distract won't work if we don't have an item. I'll say you have nothing on your person to distract this foul beast with. Perhaps your minstrels will do next time. The wicked little goblin attacks me for 20 damage, so I took 20 damage in that. So this time I'll just go ahead and run away. And it says, run away, run away, which is another reference to this movie. If you're getting it, I'll explain at the end if you don't get it. But we'll keep moving. Oh, looks like the old man healed me up, so I took all that damage away. Oh, look, I found some treasure and some toilet paper. So you can see we're in turn 15, and I had this printout so I could see what my percentage was as we're going through the Holy Grail, through the game, just for my own information. And we're at a 3% chance to find the Holy Grail so far, and we're only on turn 15. So it's getting up there, but it's not guaranteed, right? Take another silly step forward, nothing happened. But, oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention. So we did find, where was it? Yeah, so we took a step forward, right, and then we have there's the message displayed when we found some toilet paper. You found some toilet paper. Who's the king now, right? Kind of thing. Just some funny little things to put a smile on some people's face when I play through this. Oh, look. We found another item, and we're at 3.8% chance of finding the Holy Grail. But a duck, a fake wart, a newt, and a drawing some scales. Science! Still nothing. Like I said, nothing takes a lot. And look, we healed again. So it's kind of, yeah, it definitely needs to be adjusted. Another goblin. Let's attack this one. Kill him. Let's keep looking around. Oh, level 4 goblin. Okay, this time we'll attack him. And hit him for 20 damage. Alright, and then we'll display the distract so we can see how the distract function works. Oh, that one didn't work. That's weird. I think it has a chance of failing. Well, let's go ahead and attack this time. Look, I dodged that one. Alright, that one. I killed the goblin and I leveled up. So congratulations, Dolan. You have increased your faith and devotion to sacrifice in every quest for the Holy Grail. Level 2. Attack is 13. I have 90 out of my 150 health, so I'm getting a little low. I have 60 out of 110 experience to go. And it tells my inventory, so I have a toilet paper and a duck, a wart, a newt, and a drawing of some scales. So I'll move. Keep moving. Oh, another goblin. Let's tag it. Alright, this time, let's see if distract works. There we go. Okay, distract function actually works. So, you bravely toss your toilet paper. Who's the king now? At the creature's face. As a proud knight of the round table. And then we run away. And